The Empire had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 years. Their warships numbered in the millions. Their conquered world stretched across 3 spiral arms. No species had ever challenged them and survived. They considered themselves the supreme race, chosen by the universe itself to rule all life. When their scout ships discovered Earth, they laughed at what they found. Humans were primitive creatures. They had barely touched their own moon. Their ships were slow, weak, and tiny. Their weapons were chemical explosions and simple projectiles. The High Command decided that Earth would become the slave world. The conquest would take perhaps 3 days, maybe 4 if the humans were stubborn. Admiral commanded the invasion fleet. He was a legend among his people. He had crushed 47 civilizations and never lost a single engagement. Under his command sailed 300 warships, each one capable of destroying a continent. His flagship, the Divine Hammer, carried enough firepower to crack a planet in half, considered this mission beneath him. Conquering Earth required no strategy, no skill. It was simply pest control. The fleet emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter, ordered his communications officer to broadcast a message to Earth. He gave the humans 1 hour to surrender completely. All governments must dissolve. All militaries must stand down. Every human being would become property of the Empire. Resistance would result in the death of billions. Earth's response came in 43 minutes. It was not a surrender. The message was short and strange. It said only this: "We decline your offer. Please leave our solar system immediately. This is your only warning." Found this amusing. He ordered his fleet to advance toward Earth at combat speed. His officers calculated that they would reach the blue planet in 6 hours. The invasion would begin at dawn, Earth time. It would end before sunset. The fleet had traveled for exactly 2 hours when the sensors detected something unusual. A single ship was approaching from the direction of Mars. It was small, perhaps 1/20th the size of a cruiser. Its design was unlike anything in the Imperial database. The hull was angular and sharp, covered in strange panels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Lieutenant studied the readings carefully. The ship was moving fast, faster than any vessel he had ever tracked. Its acceleration was impossible according to known physics. The energy signature was unlike any technology the Empire had encountered in 12,000 years of conquest. Dismissed his lieutenant's concerns. One small ship against 300 warships was not a battle. It was a joke. He ordered his weapons officer to destroy the human vessel as soon as it came within range. The Empire would show these primitives the price of defiance. The human ship stopped at a distance of 50,000 kilometers. It simply hung there in the void, silent and still. Felt something he had not experienced in 200 years of warfare. He felt uncertainty. Why would one ship challenge an entire fleet? What did the humans know that he did not? His answer came 30 seconds later. The human ship fired. There was no visible beam, no missile launch, no energy discharge that sensors could detect, but the destroyer Righteous Fury simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, fully operational, crewed by 800 warriors. The next moment there was only empty space where it had been. No debris, no explosion, no signal of distress. The ship had been erased from reality. Stared at his tactical display. His mind refused to accept what his eyes had seen. He ordered his fleet to return fire with everything they had. 300 warships unleashed their weapons simultaneously. Plasma cannons, particle beams, antimatter torpedoes, gravity bombs. The combined firepower could have shattered a moon. None of it touched the human ship. The weapons simply stopped existing as they approached. The energy beams vanished. The missiles disappeared. The gravity bombs ceased to be. Some kind of field surrounded the human vessel, and nothing the fired could penetrate it. The human ship began to move again. It accelerated toward the fleet with terrifying speed. As it moved, it fired again and again. Each shot erased another warship from existence. The cruiser Eternal Victory disappeared. The battleship Imperial Glory vanished. The carrier wings of conquest ceased to exist, watched helplessly as his fleet died around him. His officers screamed reports of disaster. Ships were vanishing faster than they could count. The human weapon left no survivors, no wreckage, no trace that the vessels had ever existed. Warriors who had conquered worlds now faced something they had never encountered before. They faced annihilation. Ordered a retreat. For the first time in his long career, he commanded his forces to run. The fleet attempted to jump to hyperspace, but something blocked their drives. The human ship was generating a field that prevented faster-than-light travel. They were trapped, like animals in a cage with a predator. The slaughter continued for 18 minutes. That was how long it took for one human ship to destroy 273 warships. Nearly 250,000 warriors died without ever understanding what had killed them. His flagship was the last vessel remaining. The divine hammer drifted alone in space, surrounded by nothing. His mighty fleet had simply ceased to exist. His weapons were useless. His shields meant nothing. His 12,000 years of imperial supremacy had been erased in less than 20 minutes. The human ship approached slowly. It stopped just 1 kilometer from the divine hammer's bow. At this distance, could see the vessel clearly. Strange symbols were painted on its hull. He would later learn they spelled Prometheus. It was the name of a god from human mythology, a god who stole fire from the heavens and gave it to humanity. A communication signal reached the divine hammer. A human appeared on it. The creature was small and soft, with pale skin and dark eyes. It wore a simple uniform with no decorations or medals. It looked nothing like a warrior. Yet this creature commanded the weapon that had just erased the greatest fleet in galactic history. The human spoke in perfect language. Its voice was calm and polite, as if discussing whether rather than the deaths of 250,000 beings. Admiral, my name is Captain Sarah of the Earth Defense Force. I am the commanding officer of the Prometheus, Earth's first and only prototype warship. You came to our solar system with plans to enslave our people. You threatened to kill billions of innocent lives. This was an error in judgment. Tried to respond, but his voice had abandoned him. He could only stare at the small human on his screen. Captain continued speaking. The weapon you have witnessed today is called a null field projector. It removes matter from existence at the quantum level. Everything within its field simply stops being. There is no defense against it. There is no escape from it. We developed this technology specifically because we knew the galaxy was full of empires like yours. Empires that see other species as things to conquer and enslave. She paused, and her dark eyes seemed to look directly into Soul. We allowed you to see what the Prometheus can do. We wanted you to understand exactly what you face if you continue on this path. Your empire has 300 million warships scattered across the galaxy. It would take us perhaps 10 years to build enough null-field vessels to destroy them all. We would prefer not to do this. War is wasteful and painful for everyone involved. Finally found his voice. It emerged as a whisper. What do you want? We want peace, Captain replied. We want the Empire to leave Earth and its colonies alone forever. We want you to free every slave species in your territory. We want you to become a civilization that builds rather than destroys. In exchange, we will not use our technology to erase your empire from existence. The Admiral's mind raced. They had never negotiated with lesser species. They had never considered anyone their equal. But the Prometheus had changed everything. One ship had destroyed his entire fleet without suffering a single scratch. If the humans built more of these vessels, they could end civilization itself. And if we refuse, asked, though he already knew the answer. Captain's expression did not change. Then we will do what we must to protect ourselves and those who cannot protect themselves. Your empire is large, Admiral. It would take time to dismantle. But we are patient people. We have already waited 200 years to reveal ourselves to the galaxy. We can wait a little longer to finish what we start. Understood then that he had made a terrible mistake. The humans had not been primitive at all. They had been hiding, watching, preparing. They had seen the coming long before the scout ships arrived. They had built the Prometheus specifically to deliver this message, and the message was clear. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was not livestock waiting to be claimed. Humanity was something new in the galaxy, something dangerous, something that would no longer tolerate empires built on the suffering of others. The admiral made his decision. He had no real choice. "I will carry your terms to the High Council," he said. "I cannot promise they will accept. The Empire has never surrendered to anyone." "They will accept," Captain said confidently, "because you will tell them what you saw today. You will tell them that one human ship erased 300 warships in 18 minutes. You will tell them that we have plans to build 1,000 more. And you will tell them that we showed you mercy today. We let you live so you could deliver this message. Next time, there will be no survivors to carry warnings." The communication ended. The Prometheus turned and accelerated away, disappearing into the darkness of space, sat alone on his bridge, surrounded by the ghosts of his vanished fleet. He thought about the 12,000 years of dominance. He thought about all the species they had crushed and enslaved. He thought about how confident they had been that no one would ever challenge their power. Then he thought about the small, soft creatures on that strange blue planet, creatures who had looked at the mightiest empire in galactic history and simply said no, creatures who had built a weapon that turned warships into nothing, creatures who had offered peace while holding the power for absolute destruction. For the first time in his long life, Admiral felt something like respect for another species. It was an uncomfortable feeling, but as he ordered his damaged flagship toward home, he knew that the galaxy had changed forever. The age of empires built on conquest was ending. A new age was beginning. And it was being written by the small, stubborn, impossibly dangerous creatures from the third planet of an unremarkable star. The humans had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again.